Greetings, everybody. Welcome to the Therapist Take. We are going to analyze holiday villains, so you don't want to miss this one, so don't go anywhere. Hey, Carrie.
Hey, Josh.
So it's just me and you again
It
today.
is.
No Xander, so I'm having to work
I know. You're pulling double
iPad,
duty
yeah.
again.
So if I start to stutter or something, that's what's going on.
Okay.
We also decided to rearrange the podcast room last minute.
Yeah, it was an adjustment. Took a little longer when you don't know what you're doing.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Right. 100%. So like right now, I'm trying to figure out. Probably should have come this way a little bit. It's always something.
It
always
is.
Something.
It is.
And the funny thing is it's like I do it to myself. You know?
We're always our own worst enemy.
I mean, there's no sound issues today. The video's working fine. I had everything, like
ready to
everything.
go.
The podcast room was ready to go and set up as it was, and I decided, you know what? Let's sit at tables today,
Well,
just so I could work this iPad
well, that's a
and
good
talk
reason.
to you at the same time.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, we have an interesting episode today. We're going to talk about fitting with the holiday season.
Yep.
And to talk about different holiday villains. By the way, do you have a favorite Christmas movie or a holiday movie or anything?
I don't necessarily know I have a favorite, but you have ones you have to watch every year, right?
Which are?
Home Alone,
Okay.
Elf, Christmas Vacation, and that's the one. And the kids and I were just talking about. We got to watch those. It's time,
I'm
watch them
actually
over and over. And Christmas Story, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't see you as a Home Alone person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How can I? Who's not a Home Alone person?
Well, I mean, to put it in your favorite, in your must-watch category,
Yeah.
like I think for me, Elf is in there.
Yeah. Okay.
And It's a Wonderful Life is probably one of my all-time favorites. And The Grinch will eventually get watched. And then the rest are like, I think the Santa Claus movies are pretty good.
Yeah,
I think, Home Alone's good. It's funny. But I'll be honest with you, like, I never was a Christmas Story fan.
Really?
Yeah, like I think the, the scene where he shoots his eye out. Mm-hmm. The dream scene.
Yeah.
I don't know if I came in on that when I was a kid, and I'm like it just was like, it was so sad.
Oh,
and I thought it was
heart.
real. Yeah, like at that time I didn't realize it was a dream sequence.
Okay,
but I was oh my gosh. So I was like, I really didn't like that. And we're going to talk a little bit about Christmas Story today, and there's also some issues I had with how the Scott Farkas situation was handled.
Well, of course.
Parentally.
No, I know.
So.
But I think that's what we're here. We're marriage and family therapists, right?
Right.
So we're here to look at movies, and we're just specifically chose to talk about the villains, right?
Particular villains, yeah.
Particular villains, but in general, what's the theme and what's behind it, right? Because we're going to really just take away the simplicity of somebody being bad or good, right?
And you know what villains we're going to talk about today, as do I. Are there any like honorable mentions or worth mentioning that aren't going to get discussed? Like the Abominable Snowman's one of them.
And Rudolph, yeah.
And Marv and Harry almost made the list from Home Alone.
Marv and Harry.
But I was like, it's such a comedy.
Yeah. It's harder,
They're like likable criminals.
Right.
Right.
Well, who's the villain?
Terrible criminals.
Who's the villain in Elf?
Who is the villain?
The dad, right?
Oh, well.
But it's harder, right? It's hard.
Yeah.
Because where's the tension, right?
Yeah. Who's the antagonist?
Right. Right. So.
And there's a few. There's Mr. Greenway.
Well, yes, that's true.
Right, and then
he has a
there's
very Scroogey
the
feel.
South Pole elf situation.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so I would love for them to make another one and bring like Peter Dinklage back.
He says he won't though.
He won't?
Or Will Ferrell says he was
Will
offered
Ferrell
so
won't.
much money. He says he won't do it. You don't want to mess with it.
Oh, really?
I think there's some truth to that, right?
Yeah, such a good movie.
Such a good movie.
Right. Well, what we're gonna do, just like kind of let everybody know, I'm not gonna put up the little screen with our points on it like we normally do. But basically, we're gonna talk about 4 different holiday villains that we've pre-selected. And we're just going to kind of take a deeper dive into who they are, who we think they are, how they hit us emotionally, what, makes them a villain to us, and, and then kind of look at, like, are there any redemptive qualities? And by the end of our discussion on each one, we'll decide, if they should remain a villain from our perspective or something else, altogether. So, so let's just go ahead and start with, do you have a preference on? I didn't have an idea on what order to go with.
No, just the order we prepared. Okay. Yeah.
Well, what order I have it in here is I'm going to start with the Grinch here. And this is the Grinch is actually one of my father-in-law's favorite all-time characters. And I actually didn't really like the Grinch all that much until the Jim Carrey version of it came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I'm not. I love Dr. Seuss stories. I'm not crazy about the animation. Again, like, I was kind of a weird kid. Like, that the animation was kind of creepy to me. It was like their bodies were melting, or so. I don't know what it was, but they're always very long and lanky.
Yeah, they're just stick figures,
right? But when the Jim Carrey version came out, I was like, he did such a good job on that. And then, of course, they actually have made a new cartoon on it.
Yes.
So what's your... I don't know if it does it in Dr. Seuss's story, in the storyline there, or in the older cartoons, but there's some backstory we get with the Jim Carrey version, right?
Yes.
Do you remember
it? And I think a little bit of the newer one.
Yeah, I honestly have not watched the latest cartoon version.
Okay. Yeah.
Of it, but there's definitely some political overtone with it, especially the scene on the Jim Carrey version where, he was treated poorly in some scene or something, and he commented that it was because of him being green, and of course they made it comedic, but I do think, like, there is a sense of, like, one of the big messages, even probably from Dr. Seuss's point of view, I'm sure, is that, that how we're treated when we're different, right? He's very different from any other Who in Whoville, right?
Right. Yeah.
Do you remember that being in the original storyline, or?
No, I don't remember that. He was just there, and he was already Grinchy grumpy. Right?
Were you a Grinch fan? I'm not necessarily a fan of the Grinch, but the story when you were a kid?
Because it ended okay, yes.
Oh, okay.
But,
right. I was just wondering, like, because I never, honestly, like, it was never one that as a kid, that I was interested in. So I don't have a child perspective of how it hit me.
My kids don't really like it.
Okay.
My kids like the newer one, the newer animated one, better than the Jim Carrey one. Really freaks them out.
Well, yeah, I can see it from
very realistic.
Yes,
especially my daughter.
I can see that.
And so that one is actually one that very rarely will they want to watch, and I think it is because he's so clearly, right, to a kid view, just hitting him right where it hurts.
Yeah.
Right, stealing Christmas presents.
Right.
It's just abominable, terrible, right, to children,
There's
right?
No redemptive quality.
There is. How can you ever recover?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, yeah, it truly is like for a kid, like, that's like a crime against humanity right there.
It is, right? Yeah. It's because it's one of the few things that kids have actually experienced, I think, like the presents and the amazing, you know what I mean? Like, that's for most children, at least, is that they've had that. And instead of it being like theoretical, like it's wrong to take away things from people. No, that's something that's really happened. Yeah. If someone took that from me, I couldn't ever forgive, right? How could somebody do that?
Yeah.
So he's really mean. Like, to me, when you said Christmas villain, when we were talking about this, it was the first face I thought was that smile that he makes when he's stealing.
Yeah.
Right?
That
huge whole face grin. That's, to me, exactly the epitome of Christmas villain, right?
Right. There are termites in his smile.
Yes,
right?
yes.
One thing I think in the Dr. Seuss story, there obviously is a theme of, love them anyways, right? And I'm not real sure if there was if there was a little girl like in the movie that kind of spearheaded that in the books in the original book, but it wouldn't surprise me, right, if like your protagonist is someone like that in the original storyline. It's like we gotta love him anyways, And then of course in the Dr. Seuss original story, his heart grew, because sets it up with his heart was like 3 or 4 sizes too small, and then it grew because of the love that he was shown, right?
Yes.
What I love about the Ron Howard version is that he said he didn't start out that way. He started out just a regular kid who laughed and played and wanted to have fun and had crushes, and he was turned into that because of how he was treated when he was a kid. And it really pulls out your heartstrings when you watch the Ron Howard version. You get to that part of it where you're like, you really start to feel for the Grinch, right? But what's interesting to me is like how like he in his survivor mode he isolated himself.
Yes.
Right? And all that happened was his heart shrank maybe more, and his resentment grew to the point where he's going down the phone book, right, and just calling out people's names and saying "I hate you," yelling out "I hate you," right? And of course, Ron Howard does a good job of making it very comedic, but we could probably see how like people who isolate themselves like that in their pain, how that grows. And I've always found that to be a really interesting part of suffering. Like it makes sense that when we feel in danger, we got to take shelter, right? So isolation is like an effort to seek shelter, right? But we are designed as humans to thrive in groups, right? And so it's like when I feel safe not being in the group, like that's kind of a dangerous scenario, right? Because now isolation is keeping me away from community, right? And they're just resentment and hatred, and your heart shrinks.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of that whole, forward progress momentum thing, but into that negative isolation breeds more isolation, right? Fear and resentment breeds more fear and resentment. Right.
Yeah.
And that's very well depicted in the Grinch character and his experience.
Yeah, I agree. So would you say redeemable? Of course, in the
because
movie,
I've seen him be redeemed. Yes.
Yeah. But do you like him at the end?
Yeah,
Could you be friends with the Grinch? I'm not saying like you want to go hang out with him.
Yeah,
but
I would. I mean, I especially when I was a kid, right? The idea of I don't know. I've always been a soft spot. I think that maybe also why I'm a therapist, because people that make big mistakes and then repair them is to me like one of the most amazing things you can actually be a part of, right? Whether it's you doing it, hopefully, or being part of it around you. And so I do definitely think that part of the story hits, right? Watching him decide to take the risk to love because someone else was taking the risk to love him first.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I was always one too as a kid, like that. If I perceived now looking back on it, I can see it was kind of like the empath in me, like if I perceived someone to be hurting, of course that's not how I would have described it as a kid. It's
right.
I wanted to be friends with them, not to rescue them or anything like that, or it might even have been perceived like I wanted to be friends with the quote unquote bad kids or the bad boys, or it's not because I wanted to be one or anything like that. It's just because I wanted to be friends with them and be kind and just be nice to them, because it was like they were kind of chalked up as something else. And now looking back on it, I could see what I would not have been able to articulate what I was doing. It just kind of came naturally for me. Probably why I'm a therapist.
There you go. Same thing. Yeah.
All right. So the Grinch is redeemable.
Okay. Check.
Yeah. And I think Dr. Seuss is in his grave going, whew, thank
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm sure that's what he wanted.
I'm sure.
He was like, someday,
Right.
two amazing therapists are going to have a podcast and they're going to talk about this. And
So
I
I
sure hope they
better,
see
right.
him as redeemable.
I really cross my fingers.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the movie It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay.
Right. And
Okay.
the antagonist in that movie, right? Is that right? Yeah, the antagonist is
Yeah.
Mr. Potter. Right. So I don't even know what to say. I mean, that dude freaking mean.
He is
man.
mean.
Like Blackheart.
You know, to me, it's just like an oligarch.
Yeah.
That's what I think of. It's a perfect depict. It's like he has all this power for this whole
Right.
community, and he's going to withhold
I know.
to withhold for more for me. And
You talk about a true Grinch, though.
right.
You know, like, I remember when I first watched the movie, like I put it off because I wasn't really into watching black and white movies. I think I was probably in my early 20s when I first watched this movie. And the interesting thing is it really just takes place at Christmas. Like it's not like it's highlighting the holidays.
Right.
But there is this, it's taking place in a time of year it's supposed to be.
About generosity.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And when I first watched the movie, I thought it was going to be a Grinch-like story. Like that in the end,
He would soften.
yeah, he would soften up.
Yeah.
And then I also remember feeling like with George Bailey, right? That's who Jimmy Stewart played, right?
Yeah, the main character.
Right. I also was like he's going to come into some kind of wealth and fortune, right? And of course, I know at the end, everybody gave lots of money to help him out of his situation, but you talk about no good deed.
I know.
Like it really, like it's not. It's a good story, I think, and I think there's enough good, living happily ever after type themes in it that makes it work for me. I don't like movies that are they're dark and they end dark and there's no, it's like just crap happens to people and I mean we get enough of that in our everyday life to have that for me anyways. And so that's kind of how that hit me is like it was it is one of my favorite movies, but I was taken aback on like that Mr. Potter was
That the villain stays the villain. Yeah, stays a villain.
And nothing really, I don't think anything really happens.
Well, you don't really, it's kind of just left, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
it's
like-
that he's exposed and it's clear. And
Yeah, everybody knew that. Everybody knew he's a crook.
I know, but I guess I don't know. Maybe the redemption is it's visible,
He's nothing like Harry Potter.
No, he's not like Harry Potter. He's not related to Harry Potter.
I know. Like,
No.
so, does he stay a villain? Or
Yes.
Yes.
Obviously, yes.
Do you think as a therapist that's kind of hard to say though? Sometimes,
Yeah.
I know we're talking about a fictional character here, but
Yeah.
he represents people in this world, and it's
like the story of the Grinch and how he started off, as a vulnerable, open person and became that way through hurt and pain. We all can relate to that, right? Even if you aren't a Grinch, you've all had times when you've taken the easier path. But with Mr. Potter, the way I think about it as a therapist is just the data, the research, and the lived experiences of how power corrupts, right? Power changes your brain. It takes you further from empathy, from relating to others. And so that's kind of how I think about, he stays a villain because he's been corrupted, right? That's how I think about it anyways.
We don't get his backstory.
No, right.
Which is intentional, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. Do you remember the movie Crash? It came out
you
in the
love
late
that
90s.
movie,
Yeah, and I know it's there's some controversy around it. I think that I haven't explored too much of what that controversy is. But what I liked about it is that they spend about a third of the movie setting up all these people to be villains.
Yeah.
And then they spend the next 2/3 of the movie giving you backstory. And all of a sudden, like, it doesn't make what they're doing okay by any stretch of the imagination. But all of a sudden, they don't. It's it's easier to not just chalk them up as a terrible person.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Now they still might be a terrible person.
Yeah.
It just makes it harder to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think with what we know about Mr. Potter, it's not so hard to do that right now because we have
It
no
was
backstory,
easy when
right?
you're making this list. Like, yes,
Yeah.
check.
But
Yeah.
it really kind of saddens me more in a way, I mean, of course, like the movie fan and movie watcher, the fantasy part of me wants some revenge or retribution. You know,
Yeah.
like he got what was coming to him. But there's a deeper loving part that wanted a Grinch story.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And during especially as a holiday story.
Yes, I know.
So Mr. Potter and not Harry Potter. Some people might think Harry Potter is not redeemable, but I don't.
Yes.
We can talk about that.
No, that's
later.
not. I know people watch those at Christmas, but that's not they're not Christmas movies.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about Ebenezer Scrooge.
Okay.
So the graphic I have on screen right now is from the movie Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Oh, I love Mickey's Christmas Carol.
With a Jim Carrey Grinch. I mean, of course, a Jim Carrey Scrooge in the on the overlay of it here. But the reason why I put the Mickey's Christmas Carol in there because that is my favorite.
I love it too.
Christmas Carol story, and it's only like I don't know, 15 minutes long or something.
Yeah, it's
As a kid, I was like, I thought it was super long.
Yeah,
you know what's really cool though is like I think it was like maybe my wife and I's second or third Christmas together. My mother-in-law found an old VHS tape. It's
wow.
like you remember the the Disney ones are those really big ones that big plastic ones.
Yes.
But then there's before that though. There are the cases that really snapped in hard. That they're a little bit smaller. That I'll bring it up here and show it to you. But I do have a VHS copy of that movie.
How funny!
And I was so happy because I was like, this is pre-internet, pre-Netflix, and streaming. And I hadn't seen this. I hadn't seen it in forever. And I think she heard me talking about like how I loved that cartoon. And
That was sweet of her.
Yeah. And so, it's really cool. Aww. So I have, that gets watched every year.
Yes.
By the way.
Sure. Okay.
And just kind of on a side trivia here, I'm going to put up I have a graphic carry because I know you can't see the screen that I have up. There are, I didn't realize that Patrick Stewart played Ebenezer Scrooge in like 1999 in A Christmas Carol.
Oh no, you say I can think of
I've never
the
seen
picture.
it. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it.
All right. Did you see the Jim Carrey one?
Yes.
Okay, I haven't seen that one either.
It's a little scary.
Is it? Of course, it's another.
Yep.
But
I think a lot of things are scary. So just to be fair.
Do you think Gremlins is scary?
Yes.
They're so funny. Like my wife and I was like, let's watch with the kids. Let's watch the Gremlins. She's like, Josh, that's too scary. That's too much. I'm like, really? I was like, maybe I just don't remember it well. I said, okay. So we put it off for years, and finally, the kids are old enough we can watch it, and we watched it, and we were all just dying laughing at how Mom thought this was so scary.
Well, I haven't seen it since then because it's in the scary category. I'm not watching it.
It's not scary.
Okay, all right. Well,
and it is a Christmas movie.
Okay, well, I can leave that out.
Can I give a sidebar here?
Another sidebar of a sidebar?
Sidebar to the sidebar.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know people argue Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
Yes.
Do you say yes or no to that?
I have decided that I am just going to protest Die Hard, period.
Okay.
So because I have so many people in my life that love it. And so I take the antithetical perspective. I don't want to watch that movie right now.
So, and I would love to write a blog about this with all the time that I have. I think I can make a stronger case for why Lethal Weapon is a Christmas movie more than Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Okay. Well,
I'm not going to do it right now.
Please don't, because my eyes will glaze over in lack of interest.
But you should go watch Lethal Weapon.
I'm good. I've seen it. It's fine. Again, I'm fine.
You're good.
I can move right along. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that was not as interesting to you as I thought it would be.
No, sorry. Because I
knew it wouldn't be.
I'm not a man born in the 70s or 80s. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So Ebenezer Scrooge. Honestly, like most of my Christmas Carol knowledge is coming from the cartoon version.
Mickey.
Yeah. So you'll have to help me out
Well,
on like.
yeah.
Have you read the book?
No, I have not read the book. No,
I
it's
have
all been visuals for me.
Yeah. So do they? Well, I mean, obviously they, with the Ghost of Christmas Past and Christmas Present and Future, when the Ghost of Christmas Past takes him to his past, does he remember? Is it the same as like in the cartoon, like where he remembers times when things were good and like he was good and he wasn't caught up in greed and he loved and
I don't remember, maybe, but I haven't seen it in so long. What I remember of it is seeing him become Scroogey, right?
Scroogey, yeah.
Yeah. To make that
and if anybody's
word.
watching, let us know like what, because we obviously haven't seen.
Well, yeah,
all of the
I think
movies
the
with
reason
it.
that we picked it though is because what we do know of it stands in representation, right, of a villain, right?
Right.
But is it a journey of redemption?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, I think we know enough about the story,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just but backstory matters so much, which I think that's a
Yes.
message here too. Like
I agree.
with Mr. Potter, we didn't get a backstory, but with the Grinch, we got a backstory.
Mm-hmm.
With at least in the Disney version of the Mickey's Christmas Carol, we get a backstory to who Ebenezer Scrooge was.
Yeah.
And I really kind of like that version because he was really just tainted by greed.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Greed, yeah.
there's no like, at least as far as we can tell, there was no mistreatment of him.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there was in his childhood or something, but at least for what they show us in his past is that he didn't start out that way.
Right.
He was a kind, generous person who fell in love and then just kind of got mesmerized or hypnotized, whatever word you want to use, by money.
Money, power, influence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we know, again, back to Mr. Potter, we know it changes the brain, right?
Right.
So you'll hear often people will say they're not who they used to be,
Sure.
right? Their success changed them,
Right.
right? We often think it's like failure can change you, right? Can make you bitter and angry,
Right.
but success does too.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that Scrooge is an example.
Yeah.
Right, I think really he is the epitome of a character depicting greed.
Yeah.
Right, isn't that the
Oh,
literary
sure.
take of like, you
I
want to
think
learn
so.
about greed? Here you go.
Yeah, and of course, like again, when Jacob Marley comes to him, and tells him he's going to be visited by the spirits, I think there's this impression that if you don't want to wear these chains, then you've got to do it differently than what I did.
Yeah.
Which you can't take it to you. It's not, you can't take your millions to your grave.
Right.
So,
Right.
and then of course, at least in the version that I'm familiar with, it's enough. It kind of scares him into redemption, which I'm not super crazy about.
Yeah.
That, but I think like I think what I like is like there's this reflection on
Yes.
that life. My life will end. And have you ever gone to like an estate sale and like you find a lot of really great stuff? They're being sold for like pennies on the dollar, and you're like, all this life that this person lived, all right here, they accumulated it.
Yeah.
And it's just being sold off for nothing.
Yes. Oh, even stuff that isn't of value, it meant something to the people that had it in their home, right? And to think about, and then it's nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, I kind of wonder if that's part of the message is that what matters most is being kind, generous, loving. Of course, at least Mickey Mouse is Bob Cratchit. I love it.
Yeah. No, but that's
I feel really silly talking about it. I'm like, it's such a good story.
No, but I think that is the. You're right. I don't like that he feels so bad that he changes. Like we'd want accountability to be about a deeper, but it's depicted there in a way though that you can pick up on.
Yeah.
He's changing, right? He's changed.
Yeah. And of course, I think the unrealistic piece here, right, is that it doesn't quite, happen that fast.
Right.
But I don't think that's the point, right? Like it's not.
That's not the point, right?
Right. Like we're not trying to portray this realistic version of
somebody making.
This is what you can expect.
Right.
You just, show someone their past, give them a dose of what's happening in their present, and show them what would
And
happen
then
in the
they'll
future,
be
and they know,
different.
and they're going to be automatically different. It's not how it
Right.
works. The point is that just something help us get. I feel like something helps get us looking at our life.
That's right.
And
That's right.
you
Yeah.
kind of think a little more, kind of broaden
Yes.
our
Bird's eye
peripherals a little
view,
bit.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, oh, and by the way, if you had to pick, which I know you haven't seen all of these movies, but if you had to pick your favorite Ebenezer Scrooge, would it be Jim Carrey, Patrick Stewart, or Scrooge McDuck?
Oh, Scrooge McDuck.
Me too.
Of course, I know. I know you've
sorry.
made that very clear,
Yeah, I
Josh.
did.
You've made that very clear.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
was done that obvious.
Yes.
Easy to read.
Easy. Easy.
All right. Okay. Well, we have one more to
Yep.
go. And I saved this one for last for a reason.
I know.
So we're going to talk about Scut Farkus from a Christmas from A Christmas Story. And we've already established I'm not a huge fan of the movie. My father-in-law loves this movie.
I've liked it more as an adult than
Oh,
I
yeah?
ever did as a kid. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not that I don't hate the movie or anything. It's just not one that I'm like would be itching to watch. But there's I feel like there's a lot to discuss about this because he is he the only antagonist or
Well, in a
I
way,
kinda feel like the dad is
in
a
a way,
little
the
bit-
dad and the
right,
parents about
right.
right. You can't have the gift you want, and the
Right.
dad's strict rules and
You're right.
that kind of thing, right? From kid
Yeah.
perspective, yeah. So he's not. He's kind of like a. I think Farkas is a like more identifiable antagonist, right? The
Yeah.
dad is, you're especially as an older adult, you're like, I understand you want some order in your house,
Right.
and
I want to give a message to all parents out there that are planning, or all future parents, young people planning on having children.
yes,
Be mindful of what you name your kids. You name your kids Scut.
Scott. It's Scott, isn't it?
I think it's I might be wrong, but because I did look this up and everything.
Oh, okay.
I think that it may have been Scott or something, but I think they call him Scott.
Oh.
SCUT. I
Okay.
think.
Okay.
I might be wrong. I can
I'll
be
have to watch
corrected
the
on that.
credits now and see.
Yeah. By the way, we did have a comment on Facebook that also agreed the Scrooge McDuck is the better Scrooge.
Great.
I agree.
Great.
Appreciate that.
I know.
Yeah.
It's unanimous.
But maybe this person can also look up for us. Tell us, is it Scut or Scott?
Well, but I mean, he's just Farkas. My kids just talk
Yeah.
about Farkas.
But you already got the name Farkus.
And we know you can't help it. It's your last name.
Well, I get that, but I'm just saying, like, don't name him Scud or anything.
I know.
Name him like.
But would Farkas?
Don't name him Billy Bob
What if he
Farkas.
was the most giving? He'd be Farkas, right? I mean, there becomes like context with the name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Maybe it's just because I know what
Because
happens.
there's a scene of him like trying to beat people up, hurt them. Yes, it's blatant.
Bully. He wears I don't even know if that's a coonskin hat or I don't know what that is on top of his head.
That's how I think of it. Coonskin hat.
Yeah, but it doesn't really look like the color of a raccoon.
But don't you think the story is told from the kid's perspective, and so kids, especially Ralphie's age, are
Right.
still in that concrete operations, right, developmental task, and so they're not thinking critically about, bullies are usually experiencing pain, and they're channeling it, like, he's just a bully. That's
Yeah.
clear. And here, this is what bullies do. They harass you, they
Yeah.
threaten you, and then they beat you up.
Yeah, and I meant to have a picture of his buddy.
Oh, yeah.
That was like
Sidekick.
Yeah, it's like Joe Pesci. From
He is like Joe
I
Pesci.
know,
That is so true. Even the way he holds his shoulders.
I kind of felt like
and
he's the
everything.
meaner of the two.
Well, the
You know,
sidekicks
like,
get
don't
to be
mess-
mean because they got the big guy that's going to take the licks. You know what I mean? You can be the big mouth.
Yeah, I meant to post a picture of that.
Yeah.
How did you feel when Ralphie?
Oh, amazingly redemptive.
I know.
Right? I just watched
Yes.
that scene with my kids last week, and they were mesmerized. I mean, it's not like they haven't seen it, but it was
Yeah.
just like, it was just the scene. You know how that movie's on all the time, so you just watch a few
Right,
minutes of
right.
it. And it was, and we kind of all looked at each other, and you think that feels pretty good? And
Yeah.
then, of course, my daughter's like, yeah, but he kind of loses it because, he just keeps.
I love your little girl.
I know. Well,
like
you're right. He kind of glazes over, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. He
Right?
he goes dark.
And then when the
He
mom
blacks
gets him,
out.
it's like he comes to, and
Yeah,
Ralphie's not a bully, right? And so
yeah,
there's this weeping that's a relief and anyways,
yeah. But
it's a
he's
complex
defending
emotional
himself.
scene, right?
Right, and so here's there's a lot of problems with. I could talk about this one forever, even though I'm not a huge fan of the show or the movie. The first thing is that he said he said fudge, right? But of course we
Yeah.
know what that means. And that became the thing he got in trouble for, right?
I know.
Which in some ways I'm glad about that. That he didn't get in trouble for defending himself. Now he may have. Do you
No,
remember?
remember the mom doesn't tell dad.
Oh, okay.
It like stays between Ralphie and mom.
Right.
And my kids were very relieved because they were very nervous about what the dad was going to do.
Yeah, of course, because he's
Yes.
the antagonist,
Yes,
right?
yes.
The other one. And which is one of the things I have a problem with is I do remember as a kid watching that and feeling very yes, good for you, way to stand up for yourself.
Right.
To a bully. That's how it needs to be done in a sense. I don't necessarily agree with that.
I
completely.
understand. I know it's
But
complex.
I do believe that our children should be able to stand up for themselves in whatever ways that would be appropriate, and but then to it be treated like it was something bad that he did. Yeah, he glazed over and black. Someone needed to
He
pull him
lost
off,
it, yeah.
right? Yeah, no questions. We don't want. I wouldn't want anybody to get severe, put in a hospital or anything like that. But it was treated like he was the bad guy, and I know there's this idea of you don't want to stoop to their level, right? But he wasn't bullying him, and he wasn't at risk of becoming a bully,
Right.
Right.
No, that's a good point. That's a really good point. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it feels like a clear good
Yeah.
versus evil.
So I think that
Right.
there was some of that. I think maybe I think there's a lot of that type of thing in the movie that just bothered me. I haven't really analyzed it too far.
You need to watch it again this year now.
I should. I should
as
watch
an
it.
just keep thinking about a kid perspective, right?
Right.
Where things are
Yeah.
simpler. Or at least, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? The complexities aren't quite as there.
Yeah. And for some reason, I felt bad for the little brother that fell in the snow and
Oh, I
couldn't.
felt totally bad. Poor Randy. Poor Randy's just a tragic character, We always say that in my house.
man.
Poor Randy.
I think this movie, and again, I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it, but I'm getting the impression that this movie was made for adults to reflect
It's
back.
nostalgic, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
absolutely. Yeah.
Because as a kid, I'm watching this, I'm like, why would she
Clean your mouth out of soap was a traumatic
Oh
thing
my-
to watch,
yes, there's
right?
that
Yeah.
too.
Just
There are
sitting with
so
the bar
many
of soap
abuses.
in the mouth. I know.
So the other thing I wanted to mention about the Scott Farkas situation, or Scott Farkas, or whatever his name is that it's not how I do think parenting and teaching your kids whatever however your values lie with self-defense
Right.
and being able to stand up for yourself and protect yourself. That's to each parent on
Yes.
how you want to teach your kids that. But in terms of how to handle bullies, I still think from a bird's eye or from kind of a clinical view, maybe
Okay.
I still feel like the bully wins here, because bullies typically aren't trying to. Their objective is to gain emotional control over you.
Yeah.
They want you to do something
Because they
that you
provoked
normally
you,
don't
right.
do.
Right.
They provoke you. So you could beat the tar out of them, they still win if you're reactive, And Ralphie was clearly reactive.
Right.
It's not something he had prepared to do or
It
thought
was
about
a
or
fight,
taught
flight,
to do.
freeze, clearly fight
He
response.
wasn't
yeah.
right. He wasn't, training in a basement with Rocky.
Right,
On how,
right.
and he was, he just reacted. And to me, Farkas wins still. The bully wins in that situation. So when I've talked about bullying in the past, is I feel like the objective of parents is to teach their children what I call calculated responses. And of course, I think in the extreme situation that could mean having to defend yourself physically.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's other things.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, like for example, I'll tell you what I taught my daughter to do when she was dealing with bullies on the bus and stuff. Is I said, just no matter, I stole this from Scrubs, by the way, just to give you a reference here. No matter what they say to you, no matter what they say to you, just look them straight in the face and always say, "So's your face."
Yeah.
So's your face. And it might not make sense, and they might say, "That makes no sense, that's stupid," and you just keep saying, "So's your
Yeah.
face." Eventually, they're going to say something where it makes sense.
Yeah.
That's stupid, so's your face.
Because you're reflecting back impenetrability, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the rubber and glue thing. You're gonna come at me, you're gonna throw things at me and try to bully me, make me feel bad. I'm gonna flip on this little switch I have that kind of just turns on a recording that's on repeat.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna let you talk to the recording. It just says one thing over
That's
and
true.
over again.
Yeah.
That's just one of many
Right.
things.
Right.
And it's hard to do, of course, when you're a kid.
Oh, yeah.
And trusting that, but
Sure.
it does work because.
Sure. But I think what happens in the movie with Farkas, does he bully Ralphie anymore?
I don't think so.
No. So
Well, that worked for him.
For him.
Well, yeah, I think in of course, it's the movies.
right, and we don't.
I don't think that is quite how it works in
Well,
reality.
I do
but-
think that at least from the kid perspective, about you've bothered me, but now I've triumphed over you. It's changed that dynamic of how much influence you have over me, right?
Right,
And maybe
yeah.
that's part of what is the shift, right?
Right.
Which is similar to the impenetrability message that you're talking about here too.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So we need to decide.
he's
though,
a bully. We don't get any backstory.
No, I have trouble
but
with
he's
this.
a kid, and so it is
That's
hard to.
the part
I know
that gets me.
I know. I really try very hard not to. Everyone's a
No, the
child.
question you said he's a bully. I'm with you on that. He's
Okay,
a bully.
yeah.
The
Oh,
question
but
is he a villain?
Is he a villain? No, I'm not going to assign a villain to child. I think that's just a
Right.
cut off in my own value system.
Right.
I'm doing to try not to ascribe terrible things to children. I'm going to let them grow
Right.
as their brains grow. So
Right.
he's a bully. Let's agree. And then say
Yeah.
we can't ascribe him villain.
He's a bully.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And but he may, like a lot of them do, kind of grow out
Grow
of it.
up. Yeah.
And
Someday he'll have a son, and hopefully nobody picks
Yeah.
on him.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, so we basically, in terms of villains, Mr. Potter kind of
Yeah, he kind of takes the cake.
takes the cake, and I don't know of any other holiday villains. Maybe Krampus.
Yeah, maybe.
I
But
don't know much about that.
I don't
the
either.
Krampus
I'll
story,
say I don't
but
feel. Yeah, I don't feel.
but all the I do I do think Ebenezer Scrooge and the Grinch have redemptive qualities, and the saving grace for Scott Farkas is that he's a kid.
just a
Otherwise,
kid.
he stays a villain for
I
me
agree.
too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I agree. We're in agreement.
All right. Well,
Okay.
we made it through.
We had fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, appreciate everybody being here, listening to this. Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And don't forget to check out the show notes. We'll try to put some links to different things that we talked about today, or helpful resources. Don't know what we're going to do for this one, but we'll
Fun
put something in there.
Yeah.
And also just take a minute to give us a 5-star review. And we'll see you back next time.